Hello everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu and this is a Company of Heroes 2 shoutcast. Today we have Paradox playing as the Ostheer and going a quick tier 0, or should I say a normal tier 0, versus Siberian playing as the Soviets. And this is not Siberian Platoon is the name of the Company of Heroes, renowned Company of Heroes player who I guess is now in the Siberian Army or something like that. This is a new Siberian. He made it to the finals in the tournament that was held last weekend. And speaking of that, I helped cast some of those tournament things. So go find the Sunday Night Fights YouTube channel and go watch the latest like 5 videos or whatever that they posted. I co-casted with Emmy Polizei Funk. Those were some fun matches. If I remember to put some links down there, you can click on them. Remind me if I forget. I'll put the links to the videos in the thing. So pretty standard conscripts from Siberian coming out and maybe heading towards the fuel or maybe heading towards the middle to fight it out. Seems like sometimes the munitions point becomes a flash point because if you cap this and then you head up north, chances are you'll be able to fight over the fuel and take it, decap it from your opponent, or even stop them from capping it if you get there fast enough. So if people end up fighting over here sometimes to try and get a hold. But no, these players are better than that. Siberian's just booking it straight to the fuel, and just as Paradox is booking it straight to the fuel with his Grenadiers out here. And then second from the Grenadiers, or from the Infantry company, is a second thing of Grenadiers, and so no surprises yet from either player. I've been learning to play Germans lately, and so I never go clown cars as Soviets just because I haven't bothered yet, but as Germans I've been sort of buying half-tracks and scout cars, and I'm just bad with them. So that's not relevant yet because he hasn't gone for tier 1 to get his cars out yet, but we shall pay attention. Quick decap, nice by Siberian, going to cut this off. So these pioneers could have sort of ignored whatever's going on this side of the map and just gone down south to cap the fuel, but Siberian capturing the cutoff forces those pioneers to come back and recap it, so a lot of time wasted now from Paradox. And in this fight, we would expect the conscripts to win. Conscripts will win up close against Grenadiers typically, although it looks like, okay, I'm going to be honest with you, it mostly comes down to luck. Company Heroes 2 much more so than Company Heroes. The infantry damage has been sort of slowed down, cover's been made less important. It really just comes down to who gets crits, and crits are just a dice roll, and it's pretty dumb. The infantry combat's just not as good anymore as in Company Heroes, but whatever, you know, that's how it goes. And in terms of luck, conscripts are slightly better. Up close versus the Grenadiers, according to like the 2 tests I did, well, like with some guy I did like 2 tests with conscripts far away and 2 tests conscripts up close. Both times the conscripts won up close and lost far away, but obviously that time you saw the conscripts lost up close. So whatever, it's luck. This game is, I'm not saying this should be StarCraft 2 or something. I don't mind when there's luck involved in Company Heroes. It's just, compared to the original, a lot of your fights end up like, let's run my units in and hope I would get really lucky with the random number generator, and this will work out. So nice job crawling away from this MG42 by Siberian. It was at the edge, well, this is not Siberian's site, but it was at the edge of his site, so he could just sort of crawl out. They're still suppressed. It's going to take a while for it to wear off, but in fact it's going to take so long to wear off that the MG42 is just going to move up and set up again, so Siberian has to pull completely off. Also good job by Siberian getting in this house. He's only going to shoot out through 3 of these windows, and so it's going to take a while to kill these Grenadiers, but kill them he will, because you're never going to take any damage in a building really. And Ura's in, so this is kind of a weird choice. I guess he didn't want to take damage running up, but it didn't work. See, you get lucky, get a crit. This guy just died basically at full health. Infantry fights come down to luck. So I guess my number 1 tip so far, we're 4 minutes and 10 seconds into this game, since we're watching these to be entertained, we're also watching these to get to be better Company Heroes 2 players, learn strategies, learn tactics. So the best tactic I can teach you 4 minutes into this game is get lucky. That killed that conscript, and had this been an even fight between the Grenadiers, ooh, nice. Also kind of lucky. Had this been an even fight between the Grenadiers and these guys ooh-rahing in to try and close the distance, probably the Grenadiers would have won that one. You start off 5 versus 4. Then you're up and you got an advantage. Although, of course, you can never call it because, again, it comes down to luck. So Siberian has a distinct capping lead so far. Taking out that Grenadier squad is a huge coup for him this early in the game. Anytime you can kill a squad, it's just bonanza time. And Paradox is going to try and make up for this by maybe going for some sort of cutoff. This is actually not going to cut anything off. Actually, wow, suddenly Paradox is looking much better on map control between this thing in the middle and this thing over here. They're splitting the map down half, and that's not bad for the Germans this early in the game, especially after losing a squad. Weirdly goes an LMG-42 on his Grenadiers, so we don't see this very often, but it's going to give him some serious infantry killing power as long as he can stay stationary. The most annoying thing about guns that need to stay stationary to fire is that your units have an annoying propensity to dance around, try and find cover, which, joke's on them, cover doesn't really do much in Company Heroes 2, so why bother dancing around? I don't know. You're going to have to ask Relic that programmed the AI. Crazy cutoff going in from Siberian. He doesn't even stick around to finish capping these things, especially because they're not going to be linked up with him. He's just cutting it off so his opponent doesn't get any resources. Brief moment of hesitation, perhaps throwing a Molotov? No, he just inexplicably stops right here. You want to probably charge these people. What is going on with my computer? You want to charge these people to get in real close. Otherwise, this is just going to happen. Oh my god, that's brutal. This was a grenade right here, but that's just brutal. That hurt. So, also being pushed up by... Yeah, you want to charge the LMG-42s. You're going to take a huge amount of damage when you charge them. But, well, actually, what am I saying? Do you want to charge them? Oh, I don't know, because long range you're not going to win, close range you're not going to win. The idea behind charging them is that if they start getting lower health, they can't just... So let's say LMG-42 is here, and you're down here, and you're shooting, and you're shooting, and you're shooting, and you start winning the fight. So maybe they're like, maybe I should pull back here or something, and then wait for reinforcements or something. That's easy, right? But if you're up in their grill and they start pulling back, then you're going to get a lot of damage in on them when they pull back, because you're not going to stop firing over here. You're going to keep shooting them the entire time, and units can't shoot behind them. LMG-42 definitely can't shoot behind it because it's got to stay stationary to fire. And so by some miracle, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but the Ostheer has capped the entire map. What has Siberian been doing? Just chilling in his base or something? Building tier 1 to get God knows what, some clown cars or something? So bizarre concession of the entire map from Siberian to Paradox. It's tough to say. He just got pushed off in the wrong times, and oh look, we have a clown car out already. Not doing anything. Probably got... Oof, didn't get fausted. It took damage from the MG42. MG42 will rip these things up if it gets some good hits on it. And these guys are really unfortunate on both sides of the hedge. And had they been on this side of the hedge, maybe they could have stayed away. How can he see this? What's giving him sight? That's some weird stuff. These guys were like here, and they saw around the corner. True sight's fucked up, guys. This whole game is fucked up. What is going on? Everything's wrong with it. Still kind of fun, but... and shock troops. So now the shock troops are hitting the field. This is going to give, since the clown car is not doing it, this is going to give Siberian what he needs to fight off these Ostheer infantry, as if he didn't have it already. Conscripts being fairly good at fighting off Ostheer infantry already, but man, just Ostheer in a dominating position, and I don't understand how he's doing it. Has he killed any squads? Let's swap over. I don't think he's killed any squads. 3 conscripts and the clown car is a pretty standard build for the Soviets, so that's what I expect he went, and then right over to the shock troops. Just bad unit usage on Siberian's part. You need to keep your units spread out all over the map and try not to get forced off by the MG42. Try not to get into sort of fights with Grenadiers when they end up grenading you, and then you have to go back and heal up. Actually, can I swap to Siberian? No, the goal is to always have one of the players be pink, and so we're going to be watching from Paradox's point of view, because that way we get pink players, pink everything, pink doubling up on these guys. So we're in a blizzard now, which is a perfect time to cap back the map, and now you see it's gone from sort of all blue to half red. I don't know, he's carving out the red in the middle. Fight over here around the clown car. Be very, very careful so that you don't get machine gunned. Oh, and so while units are loading up in something like a half-track or a clown car, it sort of goes really slow while they're sort of loading in, so it can't just drive away while people are trying to climb inside. Don't freeze to death, just stand next to the fire. Okay, good. See, Siberian knows what he's doing. Never lose a unit to cold. There's almost never any time in Company Heroes 2 when you should give a fuck about winter, about freezing, or anything. If your units are ever about to freeze, so it looks like the sort of the darkish light blue gets to the bottom of the thing, just there's gonna be a fire near you, I guarantee it. Until tanks come out and start smashing the shit out of the battlefield, there's like always gonna be a fire. So the heralded cold tech by Relic is really more like annoying tech or APM tax check. Because see, look, there's a fire here, a fire here. Basically every capture point is gonna have a fire. So unless your opponent's been accidentally destroying them with grenades, or you've been accidentally destroying them with grenades. I say accidentally because I don't think I've ever seen anyone deliberately destroy a fire with anything other than a vehicle that can run it over. It's totally not worth whatever you're going to pay to take the fire out. So Siberian just buying as much time as he possibly can, keeping a unit in this capture zone, hiding behind the truck while he's being attacked by quite a few people. Not taking too much damage though, so it's really long range plus cover plus well, not Vet 1. Vet 1's not when you get the survivability. It's Vet 2 when you get survivability on basically every unit in this game. Even the scout car? Let's find out. Clown car. Significantly increases weapon damage, slightly reduces weapon damage taken. Okay, slightly reduces. I'll take that. So, quick tech to Ostwind. This is tier 1, 2. You can tell it's tier 2 because you see you only escalate to battle phase 2 to get it. So we have an Ostwind out on the map, and that's going to destroy everything the Russians have. They are just now teching to their Mechanized Armor Company, so that's an interesting choice. You see Mechanized Armor Company being tier 4. There goes the clown card, by the way. So tier 4, skipping tier 3, which is a super weird choice, because tier 3 is where you get the T-34s, the sweet, sweet T-34s. What you get out of tier 4 is the Su-85 and the Su-76. Man, I messed those up. I'm remembering just now a post I made on some forums. I called an Su-85, but I was thinking of an Su-76. So there, Tycho has issues. So those are the tank destroyers, one of which has the sort of free artillery barrage ability. They're not bad. They're actually pretty good. But compared to the T-34s, I say no contest. They're more expensive and much less spammable, and it's harder to run people over with them, and they don't have the turrets. So if your opponent goes AT guns and you have tank destroyers, well, if you have the Su-76, you can bombard the AT gun, so that'll actually work out tremendously well. If you have the Su-85, though, you're not going to be able to do much against AT guns except just hope they don't hit you or sort of shoot them from afar. And since in Company Heroes 2 they did take out the whole target table mechanic, which I'm not even going to bother explaining from Company Heroes 1 because it's kind of confusing, but all you need to know is that I'm fairly certain you can use a tank to sort of try and snipe AT guns, and you're not going to have horrific accuracy the way you would have in Company Heroes 1. And is that Ostwind shooting? Yeah, that's some nice range, shooting through this little gap in the hedges. Not doing anything because the Ostwind is now more of an anti-light vehicle and an anti-T-34 thing than anything else. It's got okay armor. I just cracked my knuckles. Can you hear that? My sweet microphone probably picked it up. It's got fairly good armor versus like infantry, AT, and stuff like that. Here's the shock troops doing what they do best, shocking some people. Have these guys even moved in the past 20 minutes? I feel like they're always around this corner. They must be naming the corner or something. They're like, this is the corner named... What's a German name for stuff? You know what I was going to do? I was going to write down a name of German names, write down a list of German names and a list of Russian names, because I was watching Imperial Dane the other day on YouTube, and he's always like, and then Fritz died. And I was like, I should do that, but not just use Fritz for every person. But then I didn't write down the list of names, so I know some Russian names like Lyovin and Anna Karenina and Crime and Punishment, but I'm not sure any of these people are named Crime and Punishment, so that might not work. Oh, look at that burst. Takes their health way down. Does he have medics? Yeah, he has medics. So if you can get your units out while they're retreating, or if you can retreat your units out while they're at low health, they can go back and heal up. And in Company Heroes 2, it's a real risk, though, because your retreat modifier, in terms of like extra armor and stuff... Ooh, careful laying mines. The Austrian's coming up. Retreat is not as powerful as it was in the original Company Heroes, so you have to be really careful. Time your retreats really well. Poor engineers trying to set up a mine. Like I said, Austrian not so tremendous, though, only gets one kill. It's the accuracy that hurts the Austrian. I think the accuracy and maybe not that high. It seems like the splash doesn't really do much. It looks really pretty. So retreat not as powerful as it was in Company Heroes 1. If you're getting low health and you try and retreat, chances are you'll lose 1 or 2 men on the way back, and that's annoying because it adds up, right? The manpower bleed starts to get really bad, especially if you're playing as the Ostheer. Something like Panzer Grenadiers, if you lose 1 or 2 on the retreat, that shit adds up, and it takes time to reinforce. You're probably not floating manpower, so it takes time to get the manpower. Shock troops could drop a smoke grenade here. Ugh, floating 730 manpower. This is when you start wishing you had tier 1 to get the Panzer Grenadiers, so the tier 1 building, but that costs fuel to build. If you click on the Pioneers, we can see here that it would take 15 fuel to drop a Lichten Mechanized Company. And here's the Su-76. Ooh, it's a Su-76M. What does the M stand for? Mobile? Mice? Mint flavored? Probably not mint flavored. Potentially, but unlikely. Maybe it stands for Mirror's Edge. They just announced Mirror's Edge too. I'm looking forward to that game. Mirror's Edge is really pretty. I would have sex with it. So we have what's it called? The doctrine that gives you shock troops and the KV flamethrower tank. Let's just swap over to Siberian. It gives you the, that's not the KV, this is the KV flamethrower tank. It lets you camouflage your AT guns, which I don't think I've ever seen anybody do. I would like to see what that looks like. It probably looks like a Pack 38 actually from Company Heroes, but whatever. I would still like to see what it looks like. SU-76 assault gun living up to its name, trying to put on some an assault all on its own. Killed a grenadier just now, so that was a nice shot. It's kind of unclear what this thing's supposed to do. I guess it's like a light AT gun plus an artillery gun, but everyone just ends up using it as an artillery gun because by the time it's fucking tier 4. By the time the SU-76 comes out, hopefully the Ostheer has some sort of tank or something, at the very least like an Ostwind. Because if they don't, it's like, why even bother building SU-76? You can probably just win with conscripts, right? Because they suck so much. Or you went like super fast tier 4. But the thing is, super fast tier 4 in Company Heroes 2 is not very super fast compared to anything else. It's just as fast as super fast anything. Because it's like, what are you going to tech 2 on the way to tier 4? As Soviets, are you going to stop at tier 2 or tier 3? Or tier 1 if you want tier 2? No, you're not. Like, not if you're just teching to tier 4. There's no reason to stop at tier 2 or 3 first. Although you see he's back teching right now to tier 2. Potentially for AT guns. Potentially for... Why can I not remember what this gets you? Oh, mortars and machine guns. So yeah, probably for AT guns then. Yeah, so it's not like you're going to stop off at tier 2 or tier 3 if your strategy involves teching to tier 4 after tier 1, which you do have to build for tier 4, or you have to build tier 2. Either 1 or 2 for 4. It's what are you going to dump your fuel in? You can get Molotovs and you can get AT grenades. Pretty much everybody gets both. I don't get Molotovs, and looks like Siberian doesn't get Molotovs either, so I'm glad that I have a partner in crime. But those are only 25 fuel. It's not trivial, but it's not a huge amount, and that's it. Like, that's all you can spend the fuel on, because if you're taking to tier 4, there's nothing really down here to spend fuel on except the clown cars, and those will only delay you a bit because they only cost 20 fuel. So, yeah, you're taking to tier 4, you'll get your SU-76 out at about when everybody else is getting their SU-76 out, or you'll get your SU-85 out whenever, but no, you're not going to build an SU-85, right? If you quick tech to tier 4, you're probably going to be so starving for AT by the time you get to SU-85, you're like, well, whatever. But, yeah, just every teching is... Here we go. We get to see the SU-76 versus the Ostwind. How's it going to do? Oh, gee, shit, that was an entire Pioneer squad. Motherfucker. Somehow they're still crawling. That looks like pretty good exercise, actually. We're going to try that right after the shoutcast. Work the abs, work the triceps. That's good. So look at this patchwork of this tactical map. By the way, I rebound my screenshot key, so no more screenshots. Also look at the veterancy on this map. We have Vet 2 over here. We have the SU-76 chasing down the Ostwind, actually doing a fairly good job. So there you go. Despite making mincemeat of T-34s, the Ostwind seems to have serious trouble with the SU-76. I suppose that... Oh, just kidding. I don't think that was a Faust. Was that a Faust? Let's swap over to see if it's on cooldown. Oh, it was a Faust. Okay, the Faust did damage. So just, I guess tier 4 you get what you pay for. Even though the SU-76 looks like a weak, like it's open in the back. You could walk up and shoot these people. This guy's just standing there. He's like, what is my job? That's not the right accent. He's like, what is my job? He doesn't even fire. He just loads. I am here to put things into things. Ugh. Before the war I was prostitute. I put my thing into many things. Now it is my job in back of truck to put many things into thing. Is different, but essentially same. Life is one repeating constant. I am big fan of Nietzsche. What was I gonna say? Oh, right. So, despite looking like sort of a rickety piece of shit, and if this were Men of War Assault Squad, you could just like walk a guy in the back and shoot these people off and then jump inside and joyride around, which is actually pretty sweet. But despite looking like a rickety piece of shit compared to the T-34, which has much armor on it, I guess the SU-76 does better against the Ostwind. I'll have to look up the armor numbers. So they standardized armor numbers across teams. So like they sort of tried to put each tank in a tier, sort of. So and then they gave all the tanks like the same armor across the tiers. So like the SU-85 I think is equivalent to Panzer IV or something like that. I'm not sure who the SU-76 is paired with. If anything, I would have thought it's paired with the T-34, which is equivalent to nothing. But I don't know. So these Grenadiers doing an admirable job holding up with their Vet 2, but not going to happen. Really got to hand it to Siberian. Came back from doing a bad job of capping the map and is now doing a good job of capping the map. I'm try and guess what these... Everybody's floating stuff. I have to blame this on the upkeep systems, or I think. So they fixed the upkeep system. Look at that sweet donut. Love that. They fixed the upkeep system somewhat. So it used to be a really stupid thing, 0 to 25 pop cap, no upkeep, 25 to 50 pop cap, a bunch of upkeep, 50 to 75, shit ton of upkeep. Now it just scales uniformly. So each point over 0, I think, in your pop cap is going to start adding to your upkeep, and so your manpower goes down from 300 to 200 to 100, and blah, 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 blah. And if we swap over to Siberian, we see he's even lower, 225 income, and both players floating a bunch of stuff. The resource system is just fucked up 6 ways to Sunday, okay? So potentially it's the upkeep that's making people float stuff. Potentially it's not having a lot of stuff to dump fuel into, although that wouldn't explain at all why he's floating a shit ton of manpower. Ostheer seems to be limited on everything, munitions and fuel and manpower, in my experience, whereas Soviets get to float everything. Why? Okay, the only 2 explanations are 1, these players are terrible, or 2, there's something else going on. So it's always easy to just say the players are terrible, but I can't just keep saying that every time I watch a replay by, like, anybody. Like, yes, Company Heroes 2 is new, people haven't figured stuff out, but, like, don't float resources is a very basic... Oh, here's what we can blame it on, the horrible UI, right? Horizontal resource is hard to read. No, that's not true. I'm sure even the ugly UI players can read it and figure out how many resources they have. So why? Tell me. So I'm going to think about this and come up with an answer. But before I start thinking about it, and of course I'm going to think out loud because I've never shut up since I was born. What are you doing in here? Before I come up with an answer to why the Ostheer is floating 1,500 manpower, 130 fuel, and why the Soviets are floating 500 manpower and 100 fuel, I would like you folks, you viewers at home, to try and come up with any theories you have. I've ruled out the UI, I've ruled out their noobs. So place your bets now, maybe post a comment right now if you can come up with any ideas. I'm just saying nonsense right now. I haven't even started thinking about it because I want to give everybody time to come up with it. We do have an Su-85 being built from the Soviets, so that's the mystery gone from the Soviets. And where's this AT gun? I don't know, it's been set up for a while. And still floating like a shit ton. So, Elephant Tank Destroyer, this doctrine's the one chosen. I can't remember what the name of it is. There's some cool stuff. This recon thing is really great. This mine you can only lay from a half track, so that's no good. The Elephant's sweet. And the Stuka bombing run is sweet. The Stuka bombing strike is sweet. Is he gonna spend anything? He just unlocked the Elephant, I guess. Needs 220 fuel. So, okay, let's try and solve the mystery of the floating resources. I referenced Nancy Drew in an earlier shoutcast, so it'll be a Nancy Drew mystery. Nancy Drew and the mystery of the floating resources. Here comes the Soviet AT gun bombarding. Nice hit. Nice hit. Reduce that guy to a red mist. Everything the Soviets have fucking turns into an artillery piece. God damn. Okay, let's try and solve the mystery of the floating resources. Saving for Elephant? Potentially. Certainly saving the fuel for Elephant. That still doesn't explain why he hasn't built, like, snipers or grenadiers. Really, snipers or grenadiers? No, why would you build a sniper? Grenadiers or MG42s is what you want. MG42s can still lock down points, even this late in the game. It's a very common tactic to... as the game progresses. Oh, that was a grenade that for the ages. Does killing the fire do extra damage? No, but it looks like it. Oh no, don't die. Run. Oh, you're dead. Whoa, nice shot from the Pioneers in the blizzard, like at the edge of their line of sight. So, potential answer to the floating, wanted an Elephant. Not a great answer though, because still 1,400 manpower. Potential answer, the resource upkeep system. I already ruled that out. Oh, it's a Panther. What am I? Of course it's not an Elephant. Elephants don't have building times. Still, saving it for a big tank. Whatever. Still, that doesn't explain the manpower. Siberian was sort of saving for an Su-85. Mystery of the floating manpower. I just can't come up with any idea. Please post in the comments if you know if there's any conceivable reason in the entire world why Paradox would bother floating 1,500 manpower. At least OP your fuel or munitions over here. Put a little thing on it so your opponent can't capture it. Like, that's a better... God. Whoa, look at this. Panther in the snow, driving straight up to the AT gun, and they don't get the memo. Didn't fire at all. He's driving straight into 2 tank destroyers and an AT gun. You have balls of steel. Balls, balls, balls of steel, but he took the balls of steel out and he put them on the soles of his shoes, and he's using them as little wheels to roll away. Because no, don't stop driving! Keep going, motherfucker! Drive! It's like that movie with Nicholas Winding Refn, Ryan Gosling. Ooh, yes, way to vacate the house like right before it dies. So now that Panther's fucked up for like 20 years, this house is gonna collapse pretty soon, with the AT gun even bombarding it. So that's gonna be bad. Get out. Get out. It's not a house, it's a church. Structurally unlikely, I would say, for this to happen. Also, it's unclear to me why you should be getting any cover, or why you've now learned to teleport. This is Company of Heroes 2 at its best, folks. It's Coptic Christian Church. I've said this before. We see these in Men of War. Also, nice little footrest on the cross. And oh, there, that's cute. They're trading positions. Oh, chasing the pioneers. So, like I said before, you cannot shoot behind you as you retreat. These pioneers, there's no reason for them to retreat like this. They're dead now, but they should have just hit the retreat button. Running straight away from shock troops, never ever going to work. In the entire history of the world, it has never worked, because you have to turn around to shoot them. They're not going to stop chasing you, so not happening. And he's attacking ground. You click on your unit. Let's go over here. You click on your unit, click this little E button, attack ground. If you have grid hotkeys on, of course, and you should. You click on the E attack ground button, and this is good for destroying buildings that you want to destroy. Desecrating churches. It's good for destroying AT guns or stuff that your opponent has left decrewed on the map, and it's good if somehow there's an abandoned vehicle or something and you want to destroy that, blow it up. It's also good for blowing up cover and stuff like that. So attack ground is, oh, and for blowing up hedges, things like that. These guys can't hit the dirt, so they're not going to be able to take on these guys. Ostrin's been doing some work. 12 kills. Not the most impressive thing considering it's been out here forever. It did get that light vehicle kill, but now it's getting Su-85 up the butt and around the corner, and that's it. 2 shots take it down from half health to no health. Vehicles die fast in Company Heroes 2. You better get your shit together. I don't even know what hurt the Su-85. Potentially took some Panther shots back when I came in there. I can't remember. So we have 2 shock troops out, 2 conscripts out, floating 260 fuel, or 260 manpower, only after buying shock troops that cost a shit ton, and floating 90 fuel. Meanwhile, we swap over to Paradox, still floating 1800 manpower. I still have no answer. I want to just say he's a terrible player. Like, I don't know what to say. He can't be a terrible player. Siberian beat everybody to get to the finals in that tournament, and then I will leave it a mystery as to whether Siberian won the tournament or not, but he made it to the finals. Go watch those games I casted, and so Siberian's not terrible, and Paradox is holding his own. He fucked up with that Panther when he first got it out, but I'm sure he won't make the same mistake twice, or if he does, he's gonna at least kick himself for it. Can't help but question why this AT grenade went in on the Panther when the Pioneers were right there. Kind of a misuse of munitions. He's trying to hold off the Panther, but honestly, the sooner the Panther drives forward, the sooner your Su-76 and your ZIS-3 and your Su-85 are going to shoot it. Perhaps he wants to repair his Su-85 before it gets there, but whatever. So we'll turn on Fog of War, and because Paradox has gone the spotting she sells spotting scopes by the seashore. Because he's gone the Doctrine with the spotting scope and upgraded the spotting scope for 13 artillery coming in from the Su-85 or Su-76. Because he upgraded the spotting scope, when his Panther is not moving, he can see a long way away. That's a whole screen length, basically. Look at this. This is all revealed just by the Panther. It's like that that song by the Birds, I Can See for Miles and Miles, or the Who? I think it's the Birds. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. So now I've lost all my viewers, so I can say whatever I want from now on. Note to self, don't sing anymore ever again, unless it's children's songs, because anybody can sing a child's song. They're royalty free. Pioneers still. Don't lose these Pioneers, you're going to need them. So you do have another squad of Pioneers, right, with flamethrowers, but it's going to be really crucial to keep as many Pioneers up and alive on the map as possible, because keeping this Panther repaired is what's going to keep him in the game. The Panther is going to be the only thing, well, then the AT gun, which is going to get destroyed now by shock troops. It can be the only thing that's going to keep him in this game. He needs to use it to pick away at long range against the Soviet AT guns. The Soviets, unfortunately, realize exactly what's going on. They've got their engineers in the game, and it's just brutal for the Wehrmacht, or for the Ostheer, to try and push through. Nice grenade here. So with LMG-42s and MG-42s, it's just really tough to be on the assault against dug-in conscripts and shock troops. They can just sit there, and if you run up to them, they'll shoot you. If you pause, they'll catch you while you're setting up, run up to you and shoot you. So this is going to be an uphill battle for Paradox to move out. Perhaps if he spent some of his 1,600 manpower and 120 fuel, he'd be able to make some progress. But here we go. It's the Flight of the Valkyries, except this time it's a movement of the Panther. Scouting, of course, with his grenadiers, because he doesn't want to have to always be slow with the spotting scope, and also because these will help push away the AT gun. AT gun firing. AT guns have ridiculous range, by the way, in Company Heroes 2. Getting hits in on... Oh, he decrewed it. Nice, probably grenade usage. Nope, grenade's not on cooldown. He just shot it. Yeah, lucky kills on the AT gun. Hooray, LMG. Oof, look at that damage. Su-85 going down. So many fragile vehicles. So fragile! So fragile. And now he's chasing the 76 because he can destroy the 76. It's bombard. Holy shit! Bombards the hell out of that MG-42. He's gonna want to recruit that eventually. But Panther finally doing what the Panther does best. He's managed to. Oh, don't show your butt. He's managed to isolate and destroy the Soviets. First decrewing this with his grenadiers, then moving in with a Vet 3, by the way. Then moving in with the Panther. Soviets had to pull out. I think retasking the Su-76 up there, not a good idea. The Su-85 from the front of the Panther can win. It will penetrate the Panther, and the Panther will penetrate it. Usually it's going to be the Panther who's going to win. This time the Panther started off with more health and actually does win by about one shot. Su-85 probably could have penetrated from the front and maybe knocked out the gun on the Panther and then killed it. Or even killed it, it's tough to know. I tried to use a Panther to squish people the other day because, like I said, I'm learning to play Ostheer, and so my first reaction whenever I get my tank out on the field is just to squish everybody, crush everybody, because that's what the T-34 is good at. Panther, I had less luck. I drove it straight into a group of conscripts. The AT grenaded it. I crushed like 3 or 4. But this was a huge blob, so had I had a T-34, I could have crushed like everybody. So finally, Paradox is making progress. Killed the Su-76, killed the Su-85, managed to pull back with his Panther totally alive. Only has one Pioneer Squad left, though. He didn't keep the other one alive like I told him he ought to, and so now he's building a second Pioneer Squad, and he's building another Panther. Still floating 1,200 munitions, or manpower. Please spend it. Definitely fuel-starved, having dumped it all into the Panther. But we go over to Siberian, floating 500 and 200. Ugh, it's nuts. Heavy infantry strategy from the Soviets here. I can't help but think Tier 4 was a bad idea. The Su-76 and the Su-85 combined did basically nothing T-34s couldn't have done except put some damage on the Panther. Now, putting damage on the Panther clearly didn't work out for him because the Panther could just be like, you know what? I was showing you my butt for 5 minutes, and I'm going to turn around, show you my front, and I'm just going to kill you. And so, versus a Panther, enemy armor is just going to destroy you. Versus Panzer IV, that's the thing I wanted. Versus Panzer IV, chances are enemy armor still going to do pretty good against you. Actually, Su-85 will probably help you up with Panzer IV, but it's not going to be really easy. It calls in an IS-2 heavy tank, by the way. But really, since he had the AT gun, could have just bought 2 T-34s for the cost of Su-85, right? So actually it would be a bunch more fuel, but it's still doable. Buy 1 T-34, ram it in, hit the Panther with the AT gun. That's my recommendation. But now we have an IS-2, so he's going to have to repair this Panther really fast and then get his other Panther in there. 2 Panthers have no trouble against IS-2s, despite this being the craziest tank the Soviets ever did see, named after Joseph Stalin, Joseph with an I. Don't argue, that's how they do it in Russia, that's how they roll. This IS-2 is showing who's boss by pushing along these useless pieces of metal and instantly killing a grenadier, perhaps going to force the other ones to freeze to death soon. We can only hope. So here it comes, the Panther Blitz. It's just the one. There's an AT gun here. Yeah, that's not happening. Look how much damage, though. Just 2 shots from the Panther, taking the ISU down to whatever percentage health that is. Let's say 80, because that's a nice round number. Oh, now it's down to 70. Maybe even 60. I'm just making up shit. Is this even firing? Do you even lift, bro? Yeah, you do. Bouncing off the front of the Panther, so that's kind of annoying. It'd be nice if we could get side shots. So see how the IS-2 does not hold up to the Panther. It's not even winning the fight. See, Panther's got more health. IS-2s just get owned by Panthers 1-on-1, maybe a win, 2-on-1, absolutely no chance. You have no chance to survive, make your time. All your IS-2 do belong to them, and ooh, if he takes out this Vet 3 Grenadier, things could be looking up, but he won't, because it's Vet 3, and you can't kill a Vet 3 unit in Company Heroes 2. Oof, so, Soviets doing fairly well in terms of accumulating damage on these Panthers, but he's going to be repaying the IS-2 till the end of time. If we look at the if we look at the victory points, the Soviets are bleeding down the Ostheer, so he just has to keep it hold on these points and he'll be able to win. Needs to maybe tighten the noose a little bit. Keep these, actually these AT guns are pretty much in range, it's just this building in the way. So here's the question, can you collapse a building and then shoot over it? So in the original Company Heroes, maybe you could. I'm trying to remember, they left really big lumps on the top. I'm thinking maybe, so this is ideal, by the way. Having your shock troops standing on a point that your opponent's trying to cap and they have to run into your shock troops, that's just so perfect. Evenly matched, in an evenly matched battle, the group that's not moving, that doesn't have to run, is going to win. And shock troops just love being in an evenly matched battle against people running at them, because they'll just put huge damage on Panzer Grenadiers, which will normally at least put up a fight against the shock troops, but they didn't even take a scratch. Vet 3, baby. So looks like there's going to be a win for Siberian VP. Thing for him, going in with one Panther at a time really cost him. Going in while these two AT guns were here really cost him. Gotta just ask Paradox, why are you floating 1300 manpower? It's not winning you the game, I'll put it like that. So I feel like I must be missing something really obvious, or these players are just bad. If they're bad, or this player is just bad. If he's bad, here's the lesson you learn: don't float stuff. You know, the way to turn this loss into a win is to have like a machine gun here pinning these guys, because then they can't even shoot back at your troops when they run in, and a machine gun up here pinning these guys so they can't shoot back. And you know what 2 machine guns cost? 480 manpower. Do you know what 480 is out of 1,460? A little less than 400. It's actually 480 is what it takes to subtract. So that's what it costs for 2 machine guns, which could lock down 2 victory points and play back over. So please post in the comments if you know why Paradox was floating all this stuff. Maybe he's just bad. If he's just bad, then congratulations, you just watched a good guy beat a bad guy. Even though the bad guy put up a fight. Don't move your Panthers in unsupported. Panthers will own an IS-2 on its own. Heavy tanks aren't so great. AT guns are where it's at. And I think maybe Soviets should have gone T-34s instead of the Su-85. Although, granted, the Su-85 did give them a bit of resiliency against the Panther when it first came out. So I hope you enjoyed this shoutcast. I'm going to go to bed. Bye.